Good evening, everyone. This is Marcia with Gnoshery Libertas for this evening's Sanctuary, episode 34, August 22nd, 2022, take two. Because thank God for Mitzi, we found out I wasn't recording the first, 4 minutes of this transmission. So, ironically, or perhaps not so, tonight's theme is called Calling in a Change of Plans. And I had spoken a few minutes earlier about how the previous week's transmissions throughout the month of August was all about this electrified energy, these light codes that were streaming in an accelerated way onto the planet, which, if we were open to receive them, i.e., we're connected to ourselves, we're present, we're in nature, we're, meditating or finding this type of soul inquiry or devotion where we're allowing ourselves to be receptive to them, then we may find ourselves in a time of thriving with a lot of inspiration and creative flow. Likewise, Spirit said this month is accelerating in such a way that we may find ourselves kind of overturned by it or overwhelmed by it. And so we've been really encouraged throughout this month to slow our roll, to observe the spectacle, which is to stay out of the drama, and to rise above interference. And we kept getting the phrase, man plans, God laughs. And that will be coming up again in its own way throughout tonight's transmission. And for those of you who have just tuned in for the first time to Sanctuary, this is a place where we come together every week to connect like hearts, to connect like spirits, to bring ourselves together in an alchemical cauldron that allows us to connect to the divine, both within us and also together, where it becomes an even stronger container and allows us to bring this energy forward, hopefully energies of peace and healing and integration into our week to come. So I had talked a few minutes earlier that the theme tonight from Spirit, or the transmission, is calling in a change of plans. And the sense here from Spirit was that this might not be a calling in on the conscious or personality level. In fact, to the personality self, it could feel like abruptness, or, even to the ego, like we didn't get what we wanted. And yet we have to trust, Spirit said, that both personally and collectively right now, we are calling in a change of plans. And this is actually a really good thing. Tonight's transmission has a lot of lyrics, and sometimes Spirit finds that that is the best way to communicate some of these more abstract concepts of what's really going on. So the very first lyrics tonight are, is there a way we can rise up from the wreckage we've become? We'll watch the sky light up with rainbow-colored ashes turned to dust. And the feeling I got from Spirit as these lyrics were activated was the human being really desiring to know itself fully, to be able to understand what the wreckage is, first of all, and then to find a way to know itself as it begins to rise up from this wreckage. And this is both what's happening to us individually, but also collectively. Just give me 1 second here. I'm going to make sure we've got everybody muted. Okay. So is there a way we can rise up from the wreckage we've become? We'll watch the sky light up with rainbow-colored ashes turned to dust. And Spirit really encouraging us that these rainbow-colored ashes is simply the parts of ourselves that we need to allow to depart, that we need to allow to consciously die, because they are no longer serving the soul. And we talked about this calling in a change of plans. Well, that can feel, like I said, very abrupt to the human self. And so Spirit will always give us the supporting energies that help us to navigate whatever the frequencies are on the planet in the given moment that we are tuning in. And our supporting energies for tonight begin with co-creation with Spirit. And once again, this feeling of not engaging in the drama, both out in the world, but also with any internal conflict that is happening, that is kind of keeping us spun in a loop rather than allowing us to drop into our present most receptive state. We're encouraged to do what we love and to really understand fully that relaxation equals transformation. And I will talk about that a little bit further as the call goes on, but I'm going to give it a moment to open the floor, specifically around the energies of calling in a change of plans. The first supporting energy tonight was really about our partnership with spirit, our co-creation with our divinity. And the lyrics were, "Here you go again, still out, still right, still not listening. How it's always been doesn't make it make any sense." And spirit is in telling us here that we're trying too hard to create what we desire without this nurturing, nourishing, life giving power of spirit guiding the way. And this could be leading us into a creative slump, writer's block, or really facing monumental tasks that make us unable to decide the first step. So, because we can't decide the first step, we're avoiding doing anything at all and feeling very overwhelmed. And spirit really wants us to know that we do not have to rely on ourselves alone. The next lyrics were, "Because I'm fine and then I'm out. I'm spinning round and round and I can't stop. I can't do this alone. For time I can't read my own writing here. For time, it goes fast and then it's slow. I'm up and down like a yo-yo. I can't do it on my own. And I've tried and I can't pull the sword from the stone." And this last line about "I've tried and I can't pull the sword from the stone" was really this feeling of the ego, like having to give up, having to say, okay, like I tap out, like I've tried everything my way. So let's try it yours, spirit. And it really calls us into, what does the word inspiration mean? Well, it means that we are drawing in the spirit of divine guidance. And we must tap into spirit, not just ourselves, because we are only going to have a limited perspective or limited outcomes, limited timelines to choose from. And of course, that's going to lead to suffering, because when we can only see three channels of the infinite, it's going to feel like a punishment. However, when we tap in or tune into spirit and we go inward, we start to begin to see these other rooms, these other mansions that were not available to us previously. So, co creating with our divine partner leads to a foundation, which then leaves a legacy. And we're really encouraged to reclaim our partnership with spirit. So if we feel a little disconnected or we feel a little off our path right now, to solidly make a commitment or a devotion to reclaim this partnership. That inspiration will flow as we get out of our own way. How can we open to the frequencies of devotion and gratitude, which allow us to access spirit and the inspiration and the joy that it brings? And often we will have to come up against parts of ourselves that are afraid of that pleasure and that joy and that wisdom and that knowing, because it can all seem very overwhelming to the human self. And that's why we're so encouraged to participate in soul inquiry, to participate in prayer and meditation, because these are all ways to really align ourselves with our inner core so that we can never be swayed by anything outside of us. And the last lyrics during this part of the meditation of co creation is, "Turn sticks and stones into an olive branch." I'll open the floor before I move into the next segment. We got the lyrics, "Dear August, tell me that there's light at the end of all this starless night. Dear August, please don't let me fall, because I don't know where this road is headed anymore." And spirit talking about this month of August, and this card even related to the number 8, and it was called "Be the Hunter, Not the Hunted." And really, this moment of what we call August being a point in the time space continuum where humanity is having to make a really big choice. And personally, Spirit says that we might feel that we're at the beck and call of our circumstances, our situations, or relationships, and that it's really outside of our control, that our attention is being called away from what we truly love and from our passionate focus and our creative expression. We might feel like we are being roped into being a support, savior, rescuer, or a healing tonic for others. or, for parts of our own self, which might be not allowing us to stay in the present moment. And what is called for here, Spirit says, is a call to gauge our level of healthy supportiveness, not only within our relationships, but also where we may need to tune into self support, no longer ignoring our own journey or believing that the needs of others are more important than our own. This is not a compromise, but an unhealthy neglect of self. We're asked to see through any manipulations, assertions, obligations, expectations, assumptions, or even tantrums that could be put upon us by ourselves or others. We must see through them to the truth. And once again, this frequency of discernment, that the collective, we're all being moved through a tunnel of discernment, seeing through the illusions to the truth. We're asked to follow our own spirit as we are organically magnetized towards that which is a life-giving force. We learn to course correct, outsmarting our habitual patterns of response and tuning in more creatively to spirit to guide our current situations and relationships. These are healthy relationships and circumstances which support our ability to thrive. We do not engage with or get drawn into the dramas of others or the world at large. So once again, we are repeatedly encouraged to kind of take that step back, to remain in a place of neutral detachment with situations going on right now, but particularly on the world stage. Through this present awareness, Spirit says, the stillness and our intent, we see through to the truth and heart of every situation and relationship, releasing any unhealthy patterns as we step into a new phase of empowerment where freedom and self-love emerge and exist as one. The lyrics here were, "Oh, I'm headed to the mountains. I'll be back in a week or two. Don't you try to reach me because I won't pick up for you. I got some things I need to do." So once again, we're really encouraged to step into that energy of retreat, that this is not a guilty pleasure. This is a necessity for where we are moving forward. And here I'm reminded of an article that Tom wrote on our last newsletter. He was speaking to our orientation when we're outside, you know, our orientation being that we're in this park or we're in this state or at this beach or we're in this building, and instead to orient ourselves that we are living beings in nature at all times, no matter how many walls that we have put up or built up between nature and ourselves. And Spirit brings this up because we are being called to the wild of who we really are. And wisdom found is what Spirit had me write with an exclamation point. That the wisdom of the owl is coming into humanity, which is our ability to hear what is not spoken and to see what is hidden in the darkness. Once again, these are lessons of discernment. This is now amplified, and we're encouraged to trust what we receive inwardly rather than what is being shown to us outwardly, to trust what we feel beyond all appearances. This is the power and the magic of the owl consciousness working with us to navigate our transition into a new way of living and being. The lyrics to end this part of the meditation were, "Did you ever make it out of here? Did you ever dream too? This town can be the best and the worst. This town can feel like a home or a curse." And what I felt from Spirit here was this matrix that we all are living in, this dream that we are all collectively dreaming. We have the opportunity to change it on a dime. We have the ability to shift it in any moment, but we have to make it out of here. We have to make it out of this house of mirrors. And, we can substitute this earth or this planet can be the best and the worst, can feel like a home or a curse, because really based on our orientation, it will either feel like a prison or, like the paradise that it was always meant to be. Take a moment and open up the floor and check the chat. The next supporting energy that Spirit brought through tonight with the transmission of calling in a change of plans. to support the ego self, the personality self, the part of us that feels insecure when it has to kind of charter unknown territory. There are things that we can be doing right now to create those bridges within the light realms, which will actually become bridges in our physical and material reality through our soul devotion and our commitment. So, this energy of doing what we love, and it can be very simple. In fact, the more simple it is, the better. And collectively, we are eager to express our real selves, but we do not even know where to start, Spirit says, as we have been under this spell of the program for so long, believing in our titles, our roles, and our relationships to define who we are. And instead, we are asked to remember what did we do as children? And particularly if we can remember a time before we experienced any trauma, what were we called to do? What did we love? And it can be as simple as I loved all the things, I loved riding my bike. I loved chasing the butterflies. I loved, we moved from one thing to the next as the moment called us. And the lyrics here from Spirit were, "Where do you go, my darling? When you do not sing, where do you go? And you've been told the streaks of gold in your hair mean nothing. Oh no, not so." And once again, Spirit reiterating, where are you going when you're away from me? When you are forgetting your divinity? When you do not sing, where do you go? And that time, all these times that we've been told who we are, that the streaks of gold within our soul, within our hair mean nothing. Oh no, not so. Spirit really wants us to remember who we are as the royal lineage of the God spark. And also that everything that might be going awry, or what we perceive to be going awry in our lives right now, is stemming from us drifting too far away from our own heart. So once again, doing things that we enjoy, and we will find ourselves immediately back on track. And we're encouraged to ignore anyone, including ourselves, who say that relaxing and having fun is a waste of time, because it is actually in this space where we are nourished and revitalized in the spirit. And this rejuvenation is necessary for the course correcting of not only our individual path, but the collective path at large. And so here, Spirit encourages, if we love to sing, sing for 10 minutes every day. If we love to cook, prepare a favorite meal. If we love music, listen to it all day long. And if we love daydreaming, do it without guilt or restriction, as we can no longer shove our hearts into our overbooked lives. We must make joy our priority. What do we call love? Spirit says, start there and follow the clues. We will find our treasure along the way. And so, once again, the lyrics here, how many times can I tell you? You're lovely just the way you are. Don't let the world come and change you. Don't let life break your heart. Don't put on the mask. Don't wear their disguise. Don't let them dim the light that shines in your eyes. If only you could love yourself the way that I love you. How many times can I say, you don't have to change a thing? Don't let the tide wash you away. Don't let worry ever clip your wings. Discard what is fake, keep what is real. Pursue what you love, embrace how you feel. If only you could love yourself the way that I love you. And if you ever choose a road that leads you nowhere, all alone, and you can't see right from wrong, and if you ever lose yourself out there, come on home and I'll sing you this song. So this encouragement that we are not alone, no matter how challenging life may be right now, and that God, love, wisdom, spirit, whatever you want to call that which is nameless, but which is everything and all things, is always with us, is always within us. And the last lyrics here were, it's kind of funny how things work out when you're busy making plans. It's kind of funny looking at you now with time on your hands. These are strange days. Take one at a time. These are strange days, got me out of my mind, going through the emotions, ignoring the signs. And so we are encouraged not to ignore the signs. Of course, this beautiful spirit friend here that came to alight upon our truck antenna after camp today, all of these um, beings which come to us, all of these messages which show up in the most ordinary and random and most mundane of places, they are activations and they are messages from beyond, from within, when we are there with eyes to see, ears to hear, and open with a heart that knows. I'm going to take one last moment to open the floor here before we move into our final supporting energy for the evening. Spirit reminds us that this is a time of immense personal and collective transformation, but also abounding creativity, that new ideas are springing out of the woodwork. And the human is returning to wholeness. The lyrics, I walked across an empty land. I knew the pathway like the back of my hand. I felt the earth beneath my feet, sat by the river, and it made me complete. Oh, simple thing, where have you gone? I'm getting old, and I need something to rely on. And once again, Spirit, bringing our focus back to the simple, to the earth beneath our feet, sitting by the river. The simple things are actually the things that will bring us closest to our heart, closest to the earth, closest to each other, and closest to love, to that which is God. So once again, this, taking this time to slow our roll, to chill out, to let go of rigid and fixed ideas about where we think we're supposed to be going right now. This is a big pause. As Spirit says, no one really knows where we are going right now. So relax, take time just to be, sit on a bench, practice the art of doing nothing. And Spirit says this really is an art, and the most fantastical dream weaving can come to light, as well as anchor into our physical material plane through this downtime, which is actually uptime, Spirit says, because it allows us to be in this state of spirit receptivity to receive this divine inspiration. So if we've been trying too hard or working too much, this may have blocked our creativity, or we might just be taking things too seriously, which is leading to low energy levels. So once again, encouraged to make relaxation a priority, and that a beautiful transformation will take place, leading to increased creativity, a revitalized spirit, and a newfound sense of purpose and inspiration. It's like you told me, go forward slowly. It's not a race to the end. So the last lyrics of the night saying to us, just take it slow, take it, one present moment at a time, because any projection further is going to cause us literally to flip over right now. We do not have what it takes mentally to navigate where we are going. So relaxation is not a waste of time. In fact, Spirit says the absolute opposite is true, as it slows down our thoughts and it allows our hearts to open. This is fuel for the soul, and it has a positive impact on our entire well-being. And once again, we are reminded our well-being is of utmost importance right now. Spirit says, do not take your health for granted. Make this a priority, as without it, nothing else matters. We nurture our spirits, we slow our tempo, we relax, and allow the transformation to take place. So this ends the transmission for the evening, and just bringing it all back around here to this major theme of calling in a change of plans. And once again, Spirit reiterating that this might feel a little abrupt or even shocking to humanity at large. But in fact, this change of plans is coming from a much wiser perspective than the way that we have currently been living. And so this encouragement to stay out of drama is really important, because it allows us to rise above the interference, the spectacle that's going on right now. And it creates the space for us to, quote, slow our rolls so that we can take advantage of nature. We can take advantage of time with our soul companions and our, animal companions, and just really drink in life, soak in life as if, this was the only moment that we have. Because in reality, that is the truth. There's only this moment. And so we take Spirit's guidance here of, making our divine partnership with God, with Spirit, with whatever name you want to call the nameless, to be our number one priority, to be our living prayer. And by doing so, we won't engage in the drama. We won't even be tempted to go into the fray, because we will be so busy doing what we love, engaging in the things that bring us life and bring light to the world, because truly that is what our divine, God-given gifts are here to do. It's here to bring light to the world. And what do we have to do to bring that light? Well, Spirit says, relax. It's time to take a pause, to take a breath, to take a step back, and to really savor life, to nourish yourself, to nurture the journey forward, and to really be in a receptive place so that we can be present for what's to come. So I just want to thank everyone for being here tonight. I'm going to open the floor one last time, and then if I don't hear from everyone, we'll take a moment to close down the space, and I will see everybody on the Tea and Cookies chat. I want to thank everyone on the call for being here, everyone who's listening in the replay beyond. We can feel you with us, and we look forward to seeing you next week. We're going to just take a moment to join our hearts, to connect inward, and to set the space for the week to come. Thanks again, everybody. I will see you on the other side.